In the 1950s, nuclear technology offered the promise of unlimited energy, and during this period it was believed that nuclear power would become the main source of energy for the U.S., with other sources of energy being rendered obsolete. It was thought that nuclear reactor technology would evolve to the point where a reactor would be small and affordable. And with the novelty of nuclear power at the time, it was believed that reactors small enough for a car would be developed. Ford proposed two nuclear-powered cars in the late 1950s and early 60s. The first of these was the Nucleon. The Nucleon was a concept car introduced to the public in 1957. The car's dimensions would have been 16.7 feet long, 6.5 feet wide, with a roof height of 3.5 feet and a wheelbase of 5.8 feet. It would have had retractable bumpers for improved aerodynamic performance. The interior would have had an electronic climate control system. The reactor itself would have been located at the rear of the car. The reactors would be very small versions of the reactors used to power nuclear submarines fueled with uranium. The powertrain would be steam-driven, in which the reactor heat would convert water into steam, and the steam would drive a turbine, creating the mechanical energy to propel the car. The designers had envisioned a future where gasoline would be obsolete, and that instead of gas stations, there would be a recharging station, each car getting 5,000 miles before the reactor needed to be switched out with a new one. It was envisioned that there would be different options for reactors, such as a fuel-efficient one or a high-performance one at reactor changes. Ultimately, the car remained only a design study, and only a 3/8 scale model was built. Ford's second nuclear concept car was the Seattle-ite 21. A 3/8 scale model of the car was shown at the 1962 Seattle World's Fair. Like the Nucleon, it was intended to be nuclear-powered, based on the same belief as with the Nucleon that a compact nuclear power source would be adaptable for use in a car in the future. The car had 6 wheels, with 4 front wheels for steering and 2 rear wheels. It was determined that a 6-wheel design would improve braking, traction, and tracking. The design also included interchangeable front sections, which allowed engines to be easily switched between a small, more efficient engine for city driving and a larger, more powerful engine for cross-country travel. Instead of a steering wheel, steering would be done with a fingertip control dial. Interestingly, the design included concepts such as an onboard computer and video system displaying navigation information and engine performance information. These obviously were decades in the then future, but are now common in many modern cars. However, there would have been serious issues with both the Nucleon and the Seattle-ite 21. One major problem would have been in making the machinery needed to convert the heat from the reactor into mechanical energy to propel the car small enough to fit. There also would have been required a complicated radiator system to dump the excess heat from the reactor. Even if a reactor and associated machinery could have been made small enough to power a car, there still would have been the obvious safety issues arising from a nuclear reactor, and the radiation shielding required would have made the cars too heavy. The cars would also have required massive infrastructure for the facilities to fuel and maintain them, including the very specialized handling of nuclear material and the problem of disposing of spent nuclear fuel. In the end, both cars remained only design studies, although in the case of the Seattle-ite 21, other more practical concepts were also introduced, albeit many years before the technology allowed them to become reality. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and remember, when the future was cool.